Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Jenny Cashman Wilson. I'm the founder of the Abram Wilson Foundation, and we have organized these sessions, these webinar sessions. The first one today is from Oscar Jerome. So I just want to start by just kind of saying hi, and please just pop in the comments where you're from. We'd love to hear from you and find out where you're kind of tuning in from. Just while you do that, a little bit of a reminder about the session. So Oscar's gonna show you how to write a demo for a new song. He's going to be using free production software called BandLab. So he'll be showing you how to write and record a track in real time. So you'll basically be able to develop production skills and learn how to layer drums, bass, guitar, and vocal parts. So this is aimed at all musical abilities. We're aiming at secondary school students, but you're all welcome. We're using a software called BandLab. It's free software. There is other software out there that you can use like Logic or GarageBand. They're just as good, but we've chosen BandLab because it's free. You don't have to download it for the session. You can do this at the end. We're going to be recording the webinar, so we'll be uploading it to our YouTube channel. So then you can kind of go back over the session and use BandLab to kind of go over whatever it is that Oscar teaches you during the session. So that's a really good reason to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out when we do upload it. So just a little bit of a intro to Oscar. He is a songwriter, a guitarist, a vocalist, a producer. He is, if you haven't already checked out his music, he's mega talented and super lovely. And he's been heavily involved in the London scene, the music scene, for the last 10 years. He works mainly as a solo artist, but he's also been working with a lot of the top musicians working in the UK today, particularly those who are involved in the kind of most recent kind of soul jazz wave. So those are people like Joe Armon-Jones and Coco Rocco. He's toured all over the world. He's sold out in places like the US, Australia, Europe. He's played alongside Macy Gray, Leanne La Havas, Kamasi Washington. He's released 3 projects to date. His most recent album, Breathe Deep, was recorded with Caroline International Records last year. He released that. He's working on his second album at the moment, as well as a number of collaborative projects. And he's prepping for an international tour, which will hopefully go ahead at some point this year. So you can follow him on Instagram, check out his website, oscarjerome.com, and then you can kind of get all the latest updates from him. So just quickly before I bring him on, we're going to show you a short video that we filmed last autumn, which is just a lovely introduction to Oscar, what he's about, what inspires him. So just sit back, enjoy the video, and I will see you in a second.
I'm Oscar Jerome. I'm a guitarist, a singer and producer. I started out playing classical guitar when I was quite young. My dad, he plays guitar a bit and he showed me how to play like a few little blues things and stuff when I was young, and then just been playing music ever since, really. When I was a teenager, I got into like George Benson's. When the first time I heard him play, I was just like, wow, like the fact that someone can actually do that with their hands is just like incredible. The creative process, it varies a lot because sometimes I'll just have an idea for some lyrics, either it's something that's happened in my life or something that I kind of feel is, I don't know, made me feel certain things, and I'll just write down loads of poetry. Usually I'll build a demo and then I'll bring it to my band and we'll kind of play through stuff. We might try it on a gig and then I'll kind of work it into a proper song in the studio with the band. It's perfectly calm. I've actually always been into songwriting. That's something I've always done from an early age. There was a point in my life when I started to focus a lot more on being an instrumentalist and on my guitar playing. Like especially when I was studying jazz, I was really wanting to get as good at guitar as I could. But now I'm kind of focusing a lot more of my efforts on the writing. The first thing I did with Abram Wilson Foundation was performing at an event with Coco Rocco. Abram Wilson Foundation have a lot of opportunities for young people to get involved with interesting musical projects, to work with artists who've made a career out of music and can pass on their experience and knowledge to them, and also just have fun playing music as well.
Down, 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 down.
A sense of community in music is very important because there are a lot of companies, they're trying to sell music and they're trying to make money out of it. But really, where the music comes from is through it being shared through people. And sometimes I think you can kind of lose sight of that when you're trying to, create a career out of music and people are trying to turn it into something that is monetized. When really the purpose of music is a communal thing, and it's also a very personal thing. A strong community with people that are also doing music for the same reasons as you helps you to not lose sight of the reason that you got into it in the first place.
The symmetry of
Right now, if you're feeling a little bit jaded by having the prospect of maybe being able to play shows or whatever, it's not like it's going to die. It's a massive part of society, it's a part of so many cultures, and it's something that's really important to a lot of people, so it's always going to be a necessary part of our existence.
5 beats will buzz it.
Support the people around you and they'll also support you as well through things.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. I love that. Support the people around you and they can support you. So I just want to introduce Oscar now and bring him into our virtual world. So Oscar, come on in. Hey, how's it going?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
All right. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for doing this session for us today. I'm really excited about what you've got in store. I just wanted to start with a couple of quick questions that I was kind of curious to ask. How old were you when you started playing music?
I played guitar ever since I was really young, like 6 or something. I started having proper lessons when I was about 8. I started learning classical guitar. But yeah, ever since I was, 2 years old, I've just been like singing all the time and stuff. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, wow, that's a long time. And how did you specifically start getting into songwriting?
It's always been something that I've been interested in. It's just kind of writing has always just been part of my musical communication. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of kind of production on. That's actually why I was quite interested in doing this with this software, because I didn't really know it was production at the time. I just thought I was just writing songs, but I used to use Cubase on my computer and make little songs and like send them to my friends and make my friends CDs and stuff. And so it's always been a way of me kind of like working out what I'm gonna do and then taking it to other people and working on it with them.
I think that kind of process of actually sharing what you do with other people is so important. Although it can be a little bit scary, which is why we should share it with our friends first, people that we trust and care about.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. Well, I just want to quickly flag up again. We've got the comments box. Thank you so much for putting your comments in so far. And we're going to do a little Q&A at the end. So keep popping in your questions as they come to you. If the stream cuts out at any point, don't worry. We are recording the session. As I said before, we're going to upload it to YouTube afterwards. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. And also, this is the first webinar that we've done. So we'd love your comments and suggestions. Any ideas that you have for future webinars, pop them in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. So yeah, enjoy the session. I'm going to hand over to Oscar now. And Oscar, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
See ya. Hello, people. So basically what we're going to do, I think Jenny kind of explained it already, but I'm just going to do a very basic kind of layering up of a few parts to make a groove, so for kind of the first section of a song. So like this, after this, I might then go and write a chorus, or I might want to make a track with the same groove all the way through. But this is just going to be quite a quick and simple example of how I might kind of just start getting ideas down. So it's not going to really be like a in-depth tutorial on how to use BandLab so much. It's just more about the process of writing. And for me, I'm more interested in just kind of like getting the ideas down, and then it being something that I can then take to work on other musicians with. But this program is also really good. Like you can produce tracks yourself. So my style is more kind of soul-y, funky, kind of hip-hoppy, jazzy kind of stuff, which might not be all of your kind of thing, but if you, you can interpret what I'm doing in whatever way you want. So we're going to start off by, I'm going to share the screen with you now. So we've got here, I'm just going to delete some of this stuff. I just opened this just now. So here, this is basically what BandLab looks like if you haven't used it before. I usually produce on Logic Pro. So I'm still kind of getting to know this software, but it's super easy to use. This is one way you can put in drums on here, is with the drum machine function. So just if you were going to add a new, if you're just so you can see, you just press add track and you click on that and it will come up with the drum machine thing here. So on this drum machine, we've got a, here are all the instruments, or like parts of the drum kit. So hi-hat, open hi-hat, clap, side snare, snare, that's a tom, kick drum. So we're just going to make a little groove. Like, what have we got? Let's just see what, this is just something that comes in with it already. This might be quite loud, actually. Let's turn this down. How's the volume for people? Let me know. So, okay, that's some, sounds a bit like Run DMC or something. I'm going to do 16ths on this, and I'm going to slow it down. You see up here, this is the BPM. This is how fast it is. I'm going to slow this down to about, I don't know, I'm going to do it about 80 something, 85. Let's see what that sounds like. Alright, cool, that'll do. We're going to put an open hi-hat here. As you can see, I've put the closed hi-hat. This, we call this 16ths. I want to do a side stick instead of a. So here, so as you can see here, so basically what's going on for those of you that might not understand this is, these are just like 16 beats. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and each one is divided into 4 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 16 there. And I'm just choosing which ones. So it's quite an easy way. You can just like keep it running and like just try different things out. Alright, cool. That'll do for now. We'll just go with a little groove like that. So as you can see here, if I just drag this, it's going to loop what I've got. So we're going to loop this up to here. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to give you some different options. This is, I want you guys to give me some input here. So what we're currently, the sounds that we're using is an 808 drum kit. So 808 is like a very classic kind of it's in a load of music, like you hear it in a lot of hip hop music, a lot of trap music, or even like a lot of older dance music and stuff. It's a very, or like techno or whatever. So that's on the pad kits, so that's like electronic drum kits. So I'm gonna give you a couple of different options, yeah, and I want you to tell me which one you like best. So we could go, so we got this, 808. Or we've got, let's try, I'm gonna go for dry. I quite like this one. So we could go for something that's a bit more like a classic kind of funky sort of drum beat. And then I'm gonna give you one more option. We're gonna go back on pad kits. We're gonna go for dark hip hop kits. See what that sounds like. So there's 3 pretty different kind of sounds there. Let me know. How am I getting the chat up? There's a chat. Cool. Someone says first one. I'm just gonna get a general idea for this. Someone like obviously some trappy fans in the chat. All right. While you're thinking about that, I'm gonna start putting in a guitar part. So here you can see. I've got a guitar. So this is usually how I would write. Like, I might get like a little drum beat down, just a little loop, and then try some stuff over the top. But it's not always going to be that way. Like, I might just come up with a chord sequence and then think of something over the top. It might start with some poetry. Like, there's no definite way that I do this, but this is just like, can be quite a good way. The drum beat can be quite a good sort of springboard. And just so you know, like, obviously I'm recording this, I've got the guitar and I've got like a little interface down here that I'm using to plug my guitar into the computer. But you don't need that to be able to make music on this. Like, you can play the piano on the actual keyboard of your computer or on your phone or tablet as well. It's not necessary for you to have a guitar and like an interface to be able to make music on this. Or you can record, if you'd had an acoustic guitar or acoustic instrument, you could record it through the mic on your computer or phone or tablet. But, all right, cool. So we're going to loop this. That's one thing. Oh, yeah, an important thing as well, just to make sure that this is going to loop bang on, because otherwise it's going to sound weird. All right, let's see. We should have some people say what they like now. 808, 808, dry, defo dry. All right, can someone? It's quite a mixed opinions here. Like, let's count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. You know what? I think dry is 1. Sorry, 808 crew. It's gonna be dry. But you know, you can make your own tunes with that sound. Dry. Okay. There was something that I actually I'm actually glad that you chose this, because I think it will sound I was just thinking it might sound quite cool with a little cowbell part on it. I'm gonna add a little, let's see what this sounds like. I like that. Cool. Let's zoom out. Still looking a bit crazy right now. All right, cool. So we got this. We're gonna record a little drum part, a little guitar part, sorry. So, It's a bit loud. Cool. So when I do this, it's going to count me in. It's going to give me like 4 beats in. And then I'm going to start. It's a little bit latent. Yeah, I think we've got some latency. Latency, for people that don't know, is basically when you're playing it in to the computer, there's a bit of a delay between the signal from here reaching the computer, and it makes you sound like you're playing really out of time. But I promise you, I was playing in time. All right, maybe I was a bit out of time, but sometimes it can be frustrating. You're like, really? Am I that bad at playing? And then it's actually like, oh no, it was the computer. So I'm going to show you basically, this is how you do a latency test on this program. You have to set up a vocal mic track, or if your microphone is on your computer, you'd probably use that built in. Anyway, yeah. So you've got this, and we're gonna go on settings, latency test, and what you've got to do, you've got to hold your headphone up to the microphone. Oh. Try that again. This is all supposed to happen, guys. One more time. Okay. I'm going to turn the volume up on this, so just be careful of your ears. There we go. See, there was a... Oh, that's probably really loud now. There was a latency of 142 milliseconds. That's why it sounded like I was out of time. So now it's going to correct that for me. Hopefully. My headphones are also broken. Cool. All right, I'm going to give that another go then, playing that. Hopefully it'll work. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Cool. All right, it's in time. Okay, so we got a little basic kind of chordal thing going on here. And what I'd like to do now, I think, just while I've got my guitar here, I'm gonna add just some little sprinkles on top, just a little kind of just something a bit more texture, because that thing I put in was quite simple. I'm going to give you a couple of options, all right? I'm going to give you... a more rhythmic option and a more ambient option. I want you to let me know which one you like, okay? So this is the first option. Wait, is this... No. I'll put this up here. I'm going to put my two guitars. I just made another guitar track. I'm going to put my two guitars next to each other. Okay. think there's still a tiny bit of latency going on. I'm just gonna, you see, if this happens, yeah, you just gotta try and drag it in time. This is a little bit annoying, but oh well. So what you can do here, I'm just gonna cut. I'm just gonna show you how to cut something. So you put your marker, you put this thing here, where you want to cut the track, and then you press this button here. Come on. Did it do it? No, it didn't. For some reason, it doesn't like me. Alright, that doesn't want to work. Alright, we're just going to leave that how it is for now, because I don't know why that's not working. Technical difficulties. Oh, it's cut it now. Alright, let's just see what this is like. It wanted to cut it. That's too fast now. There we go, that's in time. Alright, so that's one option. We're gonna freeze. Oh yeah, that's another thing you can do here. You can freeze tracks. And that means that if it's using lots of it's like processing lots of stuff while it's playing this, which can make it do a little crackly thing. You might hear it doing that. It can make it run a bit slow. If you freeze your track, it kind of makes that not happen so much. ASMR, it really is. Jokes. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna do another track. Add track. Guitar. Let's see what you think of this one. Alright, what do you think of that? I'm still doing that latency thing. If I had more time, I would run that latency thing again, but I don't really have time, so I'm just gonna. So the idea with this one, I was thinking we could add some effects on it. So if you go on here, you press these little three dots here, there's presets, and then you can have, there's all sorts of things you can choose on here, the different effects. I was thinking maybe something kind of ambient. Ooh, ambient clean. Let's see what that sounds like. You have it quite background. Alright, so there's that thing, that weird little background thing. It's kind of ambient sounding thing. Or there's this rhythmic wah wah. I mean, which one do you prefer? Or we could have both. A bit hectic maybe. Alright. I want to get your votes in. I'm going to start making something else while you do that, all right? I'm going to stick with ambient for the moment, just while I'm doing this. Okay, so this is the last thing that we're going to add to this. Is some bass. So I'm just going to show you. I've already got a track set up here, but I'll show you how I did this. So I just went to add track, and then I went to instrument, and this is a MIDI instrument. So you just press that, this one here, and it's going to come up with this, one of these tracks. And basically, you choose what kind of instrument you want. So what's pretty cool about this is like you can literally play anything. So if you've got a piano, and I'm using the keyboard on my computer right now. You can just literally play it like that. Or if you're on a tablet or a phone, it will just be on the screen. So you don't even need like a MIDI keyboard or anything. So what we're going to do, usually for me, what I would do in this situation if I was writing a bass line, I'd probably play it on a bass guitar. But today, just to show you the different things that you can do, I'm going to make a MIDI bass line with a synth bass sound. All right, we're going to try and choose a good synth bass sound here. Hopefully it works with what we've done. What does retro bass sound like? Sounds all right. That sounds all right. You probably need headphones. If you're not listening with headphones, you might not be able to hear that. Let's hear what does 808 bass sounds like. All right, maybe not that. That would be for like a, I don't know. Not for this. Moog bass. I always like a Moog bass. Maybe not. I think, or what you could do is we could actually have a bass guitar. It's a bit high. Dub bass. You know what? I'm gonna go with. I'm taking my sweet time about this. I'm going to go with retro bass for now. That's quite a neutral sound. So this might come across a bit out of time at first, but I'm going to show you how to sort that out. Okay. I'm just going to play this round a few times to just work out what I'm going to do, because I'm not actually a very good keyboard player. This might be a little bit whack. Really later. Cool. I'll just try something like that. Some issues. Sorry guys. It's not playing some of the notes that I'm playing for some reason. It usually works. I think it must be maybe the amount of internet I'm using to stream this at the same time. It doesn't like it. But usually this works. Let's try it again. more time. One more time. Okay, this is the one. All right, that was a little bit whack, but it'll do for now. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into the MIDI editor. Let's just hit. So as you can hear, like, sounds alright. But I'm just gonna go into the MIDI editor and just make it sound a little bit better. So here you can see all the notes that I played on this grid. If people aren't familiar with MIDI, basically you've got the keyboard on the side here, which is telling you what note I'm playing, and then we've got this grid here, which is showing you where, like what beat I played it on. So if I just play this for you, you can see. You can see it. You can see it going through. Cool. So I played this a little bit. It was all a bit latent and out of time. So what I can do is quite a cool function if people don't know about this. I generally don't do this that much because I quite like the human kind of feeling of playing something, but or like of something played by a person. But if you are struggling to get the thing you're playing in time, you can just highlight everything and press quantize, and you see that's gonna, here it says to 1/16. So that's basically gonna move it to the closest 16th note to where you played it, and hopefully put it in time. So you see, that was a lot more in time, although this one was so late it thought it was the next 16th note. Let me just, but what's also good about this, I can just drag it in time, can I? Come on. There we go. Just being proper slow. I mean, it sounds okay. Really, if I had more time, I would probably redo this bass line and, you know, try and figure out something else. But it'll do for now. Oh, no. There was a couple of dodgy notes in there that I'm just going to try and change. This one here. Didn't like that. I'm going to delete this. Let's just see what this sounds like. Yeah, that's better. I'll delete that. Don't like that. Cool. All right. Well, let's get the votes here. What were the votes? Oh, I forgot about the guitar part. Quantum mechanics. Jokes. Oh yeah, the humanize button. That's a good point, actually. The humanize button basically does what I was saying. Kind of, it puts your everything that you've played slightly, like just moves it slightly, because obviously if you're a person, unless you're a robot, Like, you're not going to play things dead in time, and that's often what gives music its groove and its feeling. And you can do that with electronic music as well. But if I were to play Humanize, you're probably not going to see any change here. But when I press that, it's moved everything slightly like off the mark of like bang in time, and that should make it apparently sound a bit more human. That was a bit later, that one was. I think it sounds better actually. Thanks for that one. Alright, cool. So what are we saying about the which one did you prefer? The can I turn up my music? Oh yeah, sorry if that's a bit quiet. What did people like out of the two guitar parts? Let's have a look. 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. This is a tough one, you know. I think it's number 2. I'm gonna stick with number 2. But you know, if you're making it yourself, you can do number 1. Cool. So to be honest, like, we've got a little groove here. Like, now what I might do is let's get rid of this so we can have a little bit of a proper look at this. I might just try and give this a little arrangement. So I'm just gonna copy and paste everything. How are we doing for time? You know what? I don't even know if we got time for this. But basically what I might do now, yeah, because you can copy and paste everything. I've copied, and like, you see that? That's just put everything that I did again. And I might then just like, you know, take out, I don't know, the bass at the start, and then not start this guitar part till here or something, and just so that it gradually starts up and make an arrangement. Then probably what I do is make another section for the song, or try and add a vocal part. So yeah, I mean, I hope that this is helpful. I hope this it's inspiring. We're going to open up for some questions now, just about general. It could be about this, it could be about music, could be about whatever. But yeah, so that was just me making a little groove on BandLab. I suppose how I would take this further now is probably try and get some different musicians to play on it. Maybe take it to some friends if you've got some musician friends, try and play it with them, or just try and like produce it into a higher like a higher production value thing. Maybe collaborate with a singer or something. But yeah. So Jenny, you want to come back?
Okay.
Cool. I'm going to stop sharing this screen now.
Great, really helpful. Thanks, Oscar. If you guys have any questions that you want to pop to Oscar, we've got like another sort of we're going to finish on the hour at 4. So yeah, please send through some questions if you have them. I know that one of the questions that came up was what were the chords? That came up a couple of times.
The chords. Oh yeah, I was playing an A minor 9 going to an F sharp minor 9. So that's basically the same chord, just modulating down a minor third, or down 1, 2, 3 semitones. Yeah.
Okay, does everyone? Hopefully everyone's got that. And then another question that came through was, how do you share BandLab? How do you share your BandLab tracks with your friends? Is that like an easy thing to do?
Yeah, so when you set up an account with BandLab, so basically what you got to do is just go on the website, set up an account, and then you can like, it's kind of like a social media platform, so you can have friends on there, and when you create a project or a track, like you can then share it on there, and then so your friend, you can make it public so that your friends on there can look at what you've created, or you can just share like a a MP3 of it or whatever.
Great. I feel like the sharing, I know I said this earlier, but I feel like the sharing is like a really important part of the process,
Mm,
kind of putting it out
definitely.
into the world. What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
yeah, definitely. Like sharing stuff with your friends, people that you trust their musical, like their ideas on music, their taste, and it's always good to run things past people, because I find often when you make stuff, you can get to a point where you can't really tell what it sounds like anymore. You're like, does this sound good? Does this sound really bad? And then you can take like a friend that you trust telling you their opinion about it to make you realize what it's really like. And also, what's cool about this as well, yeah, you could make tracks together with someone. You could put you can have the project up and then get your friend to collaborate, and then add the bass line or whatever, and make it as a communal thing.
Yeah, which is like so important right now because it's quite difficult to commune with people at the moment.
Mm.
Though I know that yeah, schools are reopening soon, so that'll be a nice thing for everyone. Okay, so some other questions that have come through. Um, uh, what software do you use for producing tracks? I think was that one. Yeah.
So, sorry, say again.
What software do you use for producing tracks?
Usually I use Logic Pro 10. That's the software I usually use. Also, a lot of people that I make music with use Ableton as well. But Ableton is available on Android, like, or on Microsoft computers or whatever. But Logic's only on Apple. But yeah, so that's what I use now.
Cool. So Alana Jade Thomas asked, did you take music GCSE or A level?
I did, yes. I took music GCSE and A level. Yeah. Although I would also say, like, if you love music, obviously, like, it's really good to do these things, and like if you have a passion for it, to follow it, and you can follow it in school, like, that's really great, and I would encourage you to do that if you have a passion for music. But also, don't feel like if you haven't done these things, if you haven't like had formal training in music, that you can't make music, because I know so many incredible musicians that are like incredible producers, or like people that don't really have lots of formal training in music, but they are, because they are passionate about it. That's what's actually important, is the passion and love for it. Like, I've done a degree in music. Never in my whole career of music have I actually had to present my degree as something to get a job. It's all about the fact that I'm able to play. That is what gives me that, yeah, makes people want to employ me or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's so important. There are so many different ways into music, and also, unfortunately, I think music A level in particular is just like really outdated, and it's not really something that like music colleges necessarily look for. They might look for music GCSE, but they're looking for kind of like you say potential and if you can play. So yeah, something to think about. Actually, Sans Souci, she's doing our third webinar on the 11th of March. It's interesting because like you kind of were sort of, you kind of started lessons when you were 8, did you say?
Yeah.
Whereas Sans Souci only really started like playing properly when she was 20. So I think
Mm.
the other thing to remember is that like you can really be any age. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
start really young to become a professional musician.
Yeah. One of my teachers at uni, he started playing the drums when he was in his 30s, and now he's like became one of the best jazz drummers in the UK.
Oh my gosh, amazing. What's his name?
His name is oh my god, his name is completely gone from me.
I'm having that problem at the moment. I don't know if it's lockdown, but like I literally just can't remember
I've just
anyone's
got
names right now. It's like people who I knew quite well, and like I just like names are just like not staying in my brain.
yeah, my brain. When I remember, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure it'll come to you. Actually, someone called Jamie gave Io a shout out in the chat
oh yeah,
earlier. And
Ayo
someone
thanks.
else. Well, we love Io, don't we? And he plays with you, doesn't he? And you're
Yeah, Ayo is the usual drummer in my band. Ayo Salawu, if people don't know
yeah.
about him, get to know.
He's amazing and such a like lovely person.
Mm.
That's also a really important part of being a musician, I think. If you're like a really lovely person to work with, people are gonna
Oh
ask you
yeah,
to come back.
definitely.
Um,
Half of that, like going on tour with people and stuff, like if someone's not gonna behave or not just gonna be a nice person to have around, like you can be as good at playing as you want, but there's only so much time people are gonna want to spend with you. So
yeah. Totally. I went on tour with this was back in 2013. So I was like managing the tour, and I won't name the musician, but he was sort of he's quite well known in the UK jazz scene and has been around for a while, but he was an absolute nightmare to work with, and I
Mm.
just was like, I don't care how good this guy is, I am literally never working with him ever again. So yeah,
Yeah.
personality is also important along with practice. So Angus MacDonald was just asking how come you don't play with Coco Rocco anymore? So that's probably a good opportunity for you to talk about your own projects.
Yeah. So I mean, I was part of Kokoroko for many years, like maybe 5 or 6 years, um, and I love that project. I've learned so much through that project and those and the people in that. They're still a lot of them some of my best friends. But it's just my own thing. Just really has been always what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a solo artist and to write music, and my own project just started to get quite busy, and Kokoroko was incredibly busy as well, doing loads of touring and stuff. And I just wasn't able to give like enough time to each project to do them justice. So I just figured, I'm gonna have to go down the solo route, um, and see this through properly, because yeah, I didn't want to mess people around when I'm not around to do gigs or whatever and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one, isn't it? I think if you're a musician who does want to kind of be a front man or a front woman or a front person, and kind of write their own music and lead their own projects or their own band, at some point you kind of have to make that decision where you sort of take the plunge, you jump off the cliff, you
Mm.
focus on your own projects, and you're not the kind of side musician anymore. You're not part of a band like Coco Rocco, because this, I mean, I would imagine that was in some ways a difficult decision to make, because Kokoroko, were doing really well. They had
Yeah.
that kind of amazing success with Abusi Junction, and that's like a kind of secure gig in a way, isn't it? A secure job, because you've got all these tour dates coming up, but at the same time, it's like you've got your own project that you want to focus on.
Yeah, and I think that's it's just a thing in life in general, isn't it? Gonna get philosophical now, but just how you have to know, you have to work out when to say no sometimes, or when to, you know, some good things, just have to come to an end, and you have to just make these kind of decisions sometimes, and you can't do everything, and often trying to do everything that will make you happy at the same time will end up making you unhappy because you're stressed.
Yeah, that is the kind of like conundrum of like sort of the um sort of current generation, is that like there are so many options and you could you know have everything and do everything, but actually the reality is that you can't, and you kind of need to make choices at times. And
Mm.
um yeah. Okay, so I've got a little more I've got a few more like technical questions for you, have come through. So Alexis Segura has asked, Oscar, what kind of music do you recommend to get more groove?
What kind of music? Oh, listening to get more groove. I would say 70s Herbie Hancock, all of that funky stuff, definitely. Maceo Parker, uh, George Clinton. Um, I mean, it depends what kind of groove you want, really. Uh, for jazz, there's a lot of groovy jazz, like, I don't know, Hank Mobley, early Miles Davis. Um, yeah, loads of stuff. Dexter Gordon. But I mean, it's a for me, like the way that I've worked on the groove in my playing has also been through playing. Well, Kokoroko actually was a really helpful thing for me with that. Playing a lot of like Fela Kuti music, and a lot of those like very kind of repetitive but really interlocking groovy parts. That's been really helpful for me. And Ebo Taylor as well, an amazing Ghanaian musician, singer, and guitarist and writer. Um, So yeah, that's a few things. But just, I mean, if something really speaks to you, if a type of music just really speaks to you and you feel good, just try playing along with it. Because then you're like, you're actually playing with those musicians on that record, and like they can really help you to kind of internalize their rhythm as well.
That's such a great tip. Okay, so someone else has asked, can we download the track you just made? So
Can you
yeah, that is
download?
a good question. How can we make that track accessible?
You probably, yeah, I can make it accessible on BandLab, I suppose. Uh,
We'll
but you
figure
know
that one
what? I
out.
actually quite like that thing I made. I might actually just turn it into into an actual tune. You know,
Oh my gosh, nice.
I think
We're
it's
all
kind of
going to
cool.
witness it.
So
It'll be on
maybe
your
when
next.
I make it into a proper thing, then you can download it for reals.
Awesome. Okay, we will try and figure that one out. Someone else has said, Rods has said that he's in a band and they're hoping to release an album. And do you have any advice for releasing a first album or getting your name out there?
Yeah. So this is definitely, it's a tough one. Like to know the best way to navigate the market right now, because it's like it's so kind of based in like streaming, and you need, you know, it can feel like, I feel like also people are very used to getting this kind of like instant gratification from stuff. Like for me, so when I put out my first EP, it took a little while to get some pickup from it. I did. I got a friend of mine helped me find an independent PR person. Uh, so that, and I paid them a little bit of money that I'd saved up to help me to kind of like get it on some blogs and stuff. But I wouldn't say that that's definitely necessary. I think it's just like, just think about all the contacts that you have, like people that might have like radio, or just even message people that you respect as well, and just try it, because a lot of the time people are willing to help people out. But one thing I would say is just put it out. I would recommend to put it out independently at first, not to try and get on a label, so that you have full ownership of this first piece of music while you're still in a position where you're not trying to, like, if you don't need a kind of advance from a label to live off or whatever, because that's been really helpful for me. Like my first two EPs, I own 100% of them because I put them out independently, and now that's great for me because I get money from them, and now that I have like a label helping me to push my platform, it's kind of helping. So yeah, one thing I would also just say, just don't expect something instant. Often opportunities can come down the road like months later. Like for me, I got I think I started working with my management like maybe 6 months after I've released my first EP, and they got in contact with me, and that after I had a manager, that was really helpful in me kind of like moving up with what I was doing. But yeah, I hope that's helpful. It's quite general, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, building a fan base is like so important, isn't it? And I think that kind of advice around self-releasing, especially when you have platforms like Bandcamp. Um,
Yeah, I used a platform called TuneCore. That's what, and that can put it up on all of like your. I still use that sometimes. Like you can put it up on everything for your all streaming things and stuff.
yeah, TuneCore is great because it just puts it out, doesn't it, onto Spotify and
Mm.
iTunes, and just it's like, yeah,
But
great.
Bandcamp as well. I really have a lot of love for those guys. They are really really supporting people. They have good ethics behind what they do. So yeah,
If you want to support musicians, I think Bandcamp is like the best place to go right now.
yeah,
They have this lovely thing, don't they, where is it the first Friday of the month, where
yeah,
they don't take any fees. So
yeah.
any music that you buy from Bandcamp on that day goes directly to the artist. There's no fees for Bandcamp,
Mm.
so, which is brilliant. Sorry, that was my calendar there, in case anyone heard that. Okay, so right, we've just got to 5 o'clock, so I'm gonna like pick
I'm happy to do more if you want.
two more questions. Okay, I'm gonna pick two more questions. So, someone gave you a shout out from Norwich. They're really looking forward to hearing you play in Norwich, which is
Oh
your
yeah,
hometown, right?
I'm playing in at the art centre. Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah,
fingers crossed. When
praying
are you
that
playing there?
happens. I think it's end of October or early November.
Okay.
So
It should be okay by then.
I think it should be fine by then. Yeah.
Where can people check out your music? Where's the best place for people to check out your music if they haven't checked it out already?
Spotify, Apple Music. You can find me we've got quite a lot of videos on YouTube as well. But yeah, Spotify is probably my biggest platform for my music. But if you just search my name, Oscar Jerome, you find me.
And you've got a radio show as well, don't you?
I have a radio show, yeah, on a radio station called Balami, BALAMII, which is, but I just play, yeah. So those of you that are asking me about music that I listen to, guitarists that I like, whatever, listen to my radio show. It's an online radio show, so you can listen back to all of them as well. But I play a vast, like, yeah, loads of different types of music. But you'll get to know some of the things that I listen to and have got me into what I'm doing now.
I've checked out the show. It's great. I would definitely recommend listening to it. Okay, so Jamie asks, how do you make your bass line so sick?
I mean, that's quite well. Thank you first. The one that I made on this was not quite so sick, but I don't know. I just love bass lines. Like I just try stuff out I usually play it on the guitar. And I don't know, I just listen to a lot of music which is very bass led. And I also work with a lot of great bass players as well. So that's always inspiring to work with people that, have a great ability on the bass. So yeah, shout out to Jack Polly, shout out to Tom Driesler. Yeah.
Speaking of musicians who inspire you, Martin has asked, who is your inspiration and who inspired you to become such a great musician?
Oh, thank you, Martin. There's a lot of musicians that really inspire me. One person on guitar that really inspired me when I was quite young was George Benson. There was a teacher that came to my school that was like a jazz piano player. And he just told me to check out, like I started having piano lessons with him and I couldn't really play the piano. And he was like, wow, you're kind of rubbish at this. And then, and then I brought my guitar, or he heard me playing guitar once in a different room and he was like, oh, you can actually play the guitar. You should just bring that to the lessons instead. And then he told me to check out George Benson. What is it? On Broadway. Do you know that? They say to me, all lights are bright. Yeah, anyway, so that there's a guitar solo in that. There's like do 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 do. I can remember. I can still sing the whole thing.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, yeah.
That's the first guitar solo I ever learned to play, and after learning that, I was just hooked. Like, and I was just like, okay, I need to learn it. I need to like listen to everything this guy's made, and he's made some really cheesy music, but I love him for all of it. But another inspiration, Jimi Hendrix. I've loved Jimi Hendrix since for a very long time. There's a guy called John Martin, who's like a more kind of folky, kind of soul-y kind of guy, he's a British musician who I really love. Joni Mitchell as well, in terms of like for songwriting and storytelling as well. What I really love about her music is that she really transports you into a situation so well, and I love that. But yeah, also just like I love a lot of writers as well, a lot of poets. Like James Baldwin, I love the language that he uses. I don't know, Keats, I don't know, all different kinds of people. I don't know, but I love loads of like Goldie. I love Goldie. I don't know, all sorts.
It's a good spectrum, I think, of like, yeah. It's so important, isn't it, to kind of find something that like you can hook into. I think that story about the George Benson solo is like a really important one, because I think often when we're taught music, it's like it's just about finding the right piece of music to kind of hook us in order to inspire us to keep practicing and keep exploring more. So like if you haven't necessarily like found that inspiration yet, it's like you just need to keep searching till you do.
Yeah, and just, I mean, it doesn't happen the same way for everyone as well. Like, that was a bit of a eureka moment for me. But, that was because I wanted to be a guitarist. But some other people might want to, they might be more general composition, or they might be like multi-instrumentalist or producer making beats, and you might not even necessarily know loads about notes or whatever, but you're more about into sound. But yeah, if something just, that's what I remember. I can't remember who it was. It's quite a saxophone player, this American guy who came to my uni once. He was just like, just make sure you listen to your favorite players 28 hours a day, and then you'll be all right. But that's what I found. Like, yeah, if you just immerse yourself in the music that you love, like, it's gonna start coming out in your playing. You're gonna want to get deeper into it.
So lovely. I love that. Okay, so very quickly, what's your favorite? George AK has asked, what's your favorite guitar pedal, and why is it the Cool Cat Overdrive CT02?
Who's been checking out my pedal board? Have you even seen that? You're on my Patreon. Yeah, what's my favorite guitar pedal? I'm gonna show you because I've got some guitar pedals right down here right now.
Mm.
This is a very cheap pedal, and this is a little bit of giving away the secrets. But you know what? I'm not so precious about this stuff anymore. This is my favorite guitar pedal, and it's a very cheap pedal. Ultra Shift, the Harmonist, by, I don't know if it's Behringer or Behringer. I think it's Behringer. It's German, isn't it? So this is just like, you can change like the different the notes that you're playing. You can harmonize. It will harmonize them. You can also do like cool things like bending the notes and like all sorts of cool stuff. And this cost me £25, I think. I know, bargain. I think they've actually been discontinued. So I've been trying to find some on eBay. So I'm actually going to go on eBay right now and try and get one before you guys will steal them all. But because if this breaks, I'm screwed.
Yeah, don't buy it. Okay, cool. So right, final two questions, because I know we've gone over. If people need to leave, or it's fine, we're recording this. But if you want to stay, please stay. So who is someone you'd really love to collaborate with? That's from Evie.
Ooh, someone I would really love to collaborate with. Do they have to be alive?
No. Actually, no. Who would you love to collaborate with?
Of
Alive
all
or
time.
not?
Gil Evans, probably. I don't know if people don't know about Gil Evans. He's an arranger who worked with a lot of his most famous work was with Miles Davis, but he wrote a lot of kind of orchestral parts for his music, and just, yeah, his writing is just incredible. And I've always been very interested in large ensemble writing, and his stuff is just beautiful, and I would just love to like kind of write an album and then get him to like arrange it for a large ensemble. That would be amazing.
Oh, well, maybe there's someone out there in the world who's a
Maybe
bit
someone like Adam Saunders, maybe.
So just for those of you who are listening, Adam Saunders is like one of our kind of behind the scenes team that's helped this all come together. And yes, thank you, Adam.
He was an amazing arranger and musician as well.
He is. And you guys were at Trinity together, right?
Yeah, we were there at the same time.
Okay. George has asked, there's another question from George. How do you choose guitar voicings, and which do you prefer?
Ooh, how do I choose guitar voicings? I mean, I've just I've studied quite a lot of different guitar players and voicings that they use and transcribe things. So that's kind of like, I just have, so that I have a bit of a bank of voicings that I like to use. In my own music, I use quite a lot of minor nine chords, especially ones which have like, oh no, my guitar's unplugged now, I can't show you, but they have like a clash, like the semitone clash between the ninth and the minor third. I love that sound. And there's a what's this, there's a book called by Mick Goodrick called something about jazz guitar. I can't remember what it's called. My memory's so bad right now. If you just look up Mick Goodrick, something jazz guitar, in there. He's got loads of different amazing like kind of examples of different voicings, like, and movements between voicings and fitting them together in like different sequences and stuff. And like I used to just kind of go through that book and play through them, and that would just give me ideas to write songs. Like, yeah, chord voicings are definitely the biggest springboard for me for like writing music. I just get so many ideas when I hear a beautiful chord voicing.
That's such a good tip. Okay, so it's 10 past the hour, so I think we'll probably finish up now. So I have one final question for you, which is which 3 artists should we be checking out on Bandcamp or another platform right now?
3 artists you should be checking out. I'm gonna say these are all people that I know as well, but people that I really respect. As an artist called Wooloo, if you haven't heard of him, that's WU-LU. He's actually helped me to produce my second EP or some of the stuff on that as well. But he's an artist in his own right, amazing artist, like, and producer and vocalist, guitarist, and it's quite like kind of beat. It's kind of like beats, but it's kind of like grungy. It's just really cool. Check him out. Ego LMA is another, which is kind of like a neo soul artist from London, who's another good friend who's really amazing. Gonna give you one more. Demey, DEMEA, who is she is an amazing vocalist. Her music is great, and like she puts music out with Touching Bass, which is like a label with some really beautiful people who are like doing a lot of good stuff in London music. So yeah, that's Wooloo, Ego LMA, and Demey.
Nice. And where can we buy your album Breathe Deep?
My album Breathe Deep, you can buy it on all the platforms online. If you want to get a vinyl, you can buy it on my website or a CD. But yeah, you can buy it on, or stream it on all of the normal places you get music, basically.
And you mentioned your Patreon scheme earlier. What's that?
So yeah, Patreon, that's something that I've set up during this time when I've not really been able to do gigs and stuff. It's a nice little, it's basically like a community of people that are kind of into my music. It's like you pay like a monthly subscription, and I do Q&As like this. I do live stream concerts on my own. I give kind of exclusive content like videos and whatever. There's some people do like even tutorials on there, and you can take it as far as you want. Like mine's quite like I'm keeping it pretty chilled at the moment, but it's something that I do want to expand with. But it's really good because it means that people that actually really rate what you do and are interested in a musical sense, like, are actually can have direct contact with you, and you can get that back from them as well. And it's also a great way for, you're just getting that money directly as well. So it's not like at the moment in the music industry, there's just so many middlemen, and like there's loads of artists that have like, I don't know, like 100,000 Instagram followers that can't even pay the rent. So it's good to see, a platform like that where people are directly able to support the artists that they respect as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really great way to direct your social media following to like something that can actually help you to sustain a living as a musician.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the subscription? Like, how much does it cost?
So on mine is £5 a month.
£5 a month.
But you have different people, they do it on like different tiers. It might be like £3 a month, £10 a month, depending on what you want to get. I just have a general £5 a month.
And what's the link for that?
If you just go on patreon.com/Oscar Jerome.
Perfect. Super simple. Okay, cool. So we're going to sign off now. Just want to say thank you to Oscar, and also to our behind the scenes Abram Wilson Foundation team. So Oscar talked about how he takes inspiration from poets, and we have a poet and rapper for our next webinar session called RG Manuel Pillai. He's going to be doing the next webinar session on Tuesday, the 2nd of March at 4 p.m. So yeah, any more comments about the session, your thoughts about it, things that you'd like to see, things we could improve, please pop them in the comments box. We really love your feedback. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I think that's it from us. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. You'll be at the next one next week on the 2nd of March. And yeah, thanks, Oscar. I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone at home. And yes, huh?
I just said thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it.